All right, y'all. We gonna talk about this because it's egregious as hell. It's arguably like the worst list in the history of lists. Um, and I'm not even really like exaggerating this statement. Maybe I am, and that's why we're gonna go through it because I feel like there's justification for the people on this list, right? In the order that it is in. And honestly, I didn't read the entire article. There could be an article that explains the criteria. So we're gonna go over this. Not everyone. We're not gonna look at every single listing on here. Probably just gonna focus on like the top 50 or so and see what they trying to do here. First of all, let me kind of go over this like like the paragraph here, like the intro paragraph to see what the hell is going on here. Um, I'm gonna like read. I'm gonna read this to you guys just so we all are on the same page. Okay, just so we're on the same page. 200 seems like an almost luxuriantly expansive number when you're making an album list in any other genre. Maybe it would be, but the history of rap LPs is so rich and varied that we're forced to make some painful choices. There are many iconic artists with deep catalogs, so many constantly evolving sounds and regional scenes. That's one reason we limited our scope to English hip hop only. So that's one note. English hip hop only. Okay. Relatedly, a list of hip hop albums adjacent from worlds from dancehall or reggaeton or grime would be fun and fascinating and something we revisit down the road. So this is just focusing solely on American English hip hop. Okay. When confronted with a choice between the third or fourth or fifth record by a classic artist, Outkast for instance, or a Tribe Called Quest, and an album from an artist who would make the list more interesting, that's an interesting note, like Jaka, Sabo, or Camp Lo, we tended to go with the later option. The result was the list that touches on every important moment in the genre's evolution, from the compilations that honor the music's paleo old school days to its artistic flourishing in the late 80s and 90s with Public Enemy, De La Soul, Eric B., Rakim, and others, through the gangsta era, the rise of the South, and the ascendance of larger than life aughts superstars like Jay Z, Kanye West, and Nicki Minaj, and on to more recent moments like blog rap, emo rap, drill, New York, LA, Houston, Chicago, and beyond. As we dug and listened, we found ourselves a little less swayed by golden age mystique than we might have been when we done this list 10 or 15 years ago. That's an interesting note, too. One of the incredible things about hip hop is that it evolves, expands faster than any other genre in music history. To a fan coming up in the era of Cardi or Tyler or Polo G or Playboy Cardi, this is the golden era. So, after reading that paragraph, this actually does give me a little bit more context of what they're trying to do with this list. So this list feels like it's more like a generational thing. They're like, it seems like they took a certain number of albums from a certain number of generations and determined, kind of based off of that, where these albums stand. All right. Now, once again, we're not going to go through this whole list. I'm just going to kind of scroll through and name some numbers. 200 is Travis Scott, Astroworld. Honestly, I feel like that album should be a little bit higher. And off rip, I feel like this album should be higher because it's probably the most important album coming out of Houston for Houston artists since like Beyonce. It's a big album. Sicko Mode, that got Travis Scott all the way to the Super Bowl. So that should be a little bit higher. They got Juice WRLD in here at 199. That's fair. Bandana at 197. No, okay, sure. I think that should be higher. You know what I'm saying? I think that should be higher. ASAP, Live, Love, ASAP at 193. Dog. First of all, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. That album is top 100 at least to me. But the fact that it made a list, cool. That's cool. We scrolling. Nipsey Hussle's Crenshaw 189. Bet. They got Wild Style, the original soundtrack, at 188. Fair. Scrolling, I'm gonna be skipping a bunch of these. I'm just gonna point out the ones that stand out to me. Saba's "Care for Me." I'm actually glad that this album made the list. Saba's "Care for Me" is probably actually one of the most underrated albums in hip hop history. If you have not heard Saba's "Care for Me," you need to go check that out. That album's actually super incredible. I love that album. I think Saba is extremely underrated. So I think that absolutely that deserves to be on this list. Where exactly? I don't know. They got Camp Lowe's, Uptown Saturday Night, 183. Okay. Sound Bombing at 181. I feel like that should be higher. I feel like Sound Bombing should be way higher on this list. Freestyle Fellowship is on here. Once again, I'm just scrolling. We're just scrolling because I'm not trying to spend too much time talking about this. Cameron's Purple Haze at 174. See, like the thing is like I would put this album on the list, but I would put this below ASAP Rocky's. I think it should be on the list, but I think it should be way lower on the list. Mac Miller's The Divine Feminine. It's a strong album. They got Big Crit on here. Crit was here at 170. That's dope. I mess with that. Scrolling. Childish Gambino, Because the Internet. Oh man. Whoo. That's coming in at 166. Dang. I feel like this is me personally. That this is a top 30 album. If especially if we're doing the generational thing, and Donald Glover said this himself, that this album is the OK Radio of OK Computer Radiohead album of this generation. I absolutely agree. I think that this album should be way higher. Way, way, way higher. This is a top 50 album. Egregious. Egregious. Throw the whole list out. But I'm also a Donald Glover stan, so I be standing. Polo G, okay. Big L. I mess with that. Danny Brown XXX. That's actually at 157. I actually mess with that. That's a good album. That's actually a good album in a good position. I didn't like Danny Brown before this album. His voice like really, really bothered me. I feel like this album kind of proved me wrong though. He kind of switched it up and brought a sound that was new and fresh at the time. They got Lil Nas X Montero at 151. Holy shit, that should not even be on here. I'm not even trying to hate on Lil Nas X, but that album is pretty mid overall. I think that yes, Old Town Road, yes, Industry Baby, both two fire songs, but the album overall, I would give that album like a 7 out of 10 at the most. So that's that. The fact that he even made the list, I think that's kind of like a clout thing. Like, you know, Lil Nas X just being so popular or whatever. I don't even know how they just determined that one. Anyways, we moving on. Keep it scrolling. The Roots, How I Got Over 2010. That album is actually extremely impactful to me. That album got me through some shit for sure. How I Got Over. For me personally, that's a top 50 album. I respect that it's on the list. Is it The Roots' best album? I don't think so. But we'll see if other albums make this list. Because if I remember correctly, I think they said that they're not choosing every album from a person's catalog. I digress. They're coming in 150. Run the Jewels, 148. Run the Jewels 2. So I guess that kind of proved me wrong with just right now because it's not even like, I don't even know. Run the Jewels 2 might be their best one. I kind of like the first one more though. I don't know. That's interesting. This is a very interesting list for sure. LL Cool J's Radio at 147. Black Sheep, a Wolf in Sheep's Clothing at 146. Fair. Common's B at 145. Dang. See, that's another album that I think should be way, 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 way higher. I think that's at least a top 50, top 75 album. I don't think it should be at 145. That album is remarkable. It's probably the greatest thing that Common's ever done, and arguably some of the best production that Kanye's ever done too. That was like a moment. So that's kind of surprising. Anyways, we scrolling. Little Uzi Vert's Eternal Atake. I like that album. I think there was too much hype behind it though. I was a little disappointed with the amount of hype that was behind it. That one came in at 143. And I kind of see what they're doing. I almost feel like they're like picking albums from each generation and kind of sprinkling around through this list. I think the problem that is bothering people is the order of these albums. They got Nas's It Was Written at 140. That is that's hard for me because that album to me is top 10. Nas's It Was Written. It's it's arguably to me his best album ever. I like It Was Written way more than Illmatic, and maybe that's a old head thing because I didn't really even get into hip hop until It Was Written. It Was Written was one of the first hip hop albums that I really dove deep into, and then you had the single If I Rule the World with Lauryn Hill, which is one of the greatest songs in hip hop history. Period. To this day, you could pop that off in the clubs right now, and it still goes hard. So I think that this one is egregious as F. This needs to be way higher. It Was Written as 140 out of 200. Dang, man. I gotta think about that for a second, dog. Cause I know Illmatic's on here, and I know it's a top 30 album, but It Was Written should be way higher. Whoa. Anyways, keep scrolling. They got Doja Cat's album above It Was Written at 136. To be fair, Doja Cat came in and fucking just crushed the game. Like, destroyed it. Like, her run, like, she's still pushing the same album that she's been pushing for a minute. Like, it's crazy how many singles and how much impact she's made in this short amount of time. And now I think she's like the most listened to female rap artist of all time in the amount of time that she's been doing this in. So that's crazy, dog. Like, the fact that it's over It Was Written. It Was Written at 140 is fucking me up right now. I'm trying to like come to terms with that. I don't agree with that at all whatsoever. That's a top 10 album to me personally. Tupac, Me Against the World at 134. That needs to be higher. J. Cole, Forest Hill Drive at 132. I think Forest Hill Drive is actually the album that I like the most from J. Cole overall. This is if we're not counting his mixtapes. It'll be interesting to see if another J. Cole album makes this other than this one. Ghostface Killer Fish Scale, that's actually a hard ass album. Great album. Nothing to say about that. It's at 131, that's fine. Lit. Big Pun. We've been talking about Big Pun lately. Big Pun, Capital Punishment at 128. Big Pun, he did his thing, man. I'm not trying to, like, people think that I hate Big Pun because I dismissed him from that meme. But I just think that when it comes to comparing other artists, but I know someone's going to point it out, oh, is there a Beanie Siegel album on here? There's probably not. There's probably not a Beanie Siegel album on this list. So, whatever. There's definitely I bet you Raekwon and, I mean, you already saw Cameron, but I bet you Raekwon Only Built for Cuban Links is on here. If not, I would be extremely surprised if it's not. So I guess based off of this and that argument, Beanie's got to go. I love you, Beans, but you know, you're probably not on this list. Anyways, Bone Thugs and Harmony, 127, E 1999. That's a good album, man. I feel like that should be a little bit higher too. Yeah, anyways, Drake. I think this is the first Drake appearance on here. No, hold on. I think this is the first Drake appearance on here. So this is Drake. If you're reading this is Too Late at 125. And right next to that is Speaker Box, The Love Below at 124. Now, Speaker Box, The Love Below to me is a mind-blowing album. To me personally, I would call it Outkast's best album, but it's not an Outkast album. It's two solo albums. But man, that album, whew, that's a top 50 album for me, bro. Souls of Mischief, 1993 till Infinity. That's like one of the GOAT hip hop beats of all time. Like if we had like a top 10 hip hop beats, I would say 93 until Infinity. That song is on that list. Nerd in Search of and 122. Once again, this is an album for me personally that affected me deeply. And I'm also like a big Pharrell stan. I think that Pharrell is the GOAT. So to me, this is top 50. I think this is a little low. But let's see. Let's keep scrolling. We're going to skip a couple here because, like I said, we're not going through all these. I'm just going to point out the ones that stand. Actually, a lot of these stand. I could talk about almost all these albums if I really wanted to. But we're not going to. We're just going to keep scrolling. Jay-Z, the Black Album. This might be Jay-Z's first appearance on the list. And it's the Black Album at 113. That's a little tough for me to process. I feel like the Black Album was, first of all, an extremely important album. The singles that Jay-Z dropped on there are probably the best of his career, with Dirt on the Shoulder, 99 Problems, Lucifer. Like, they're the most iconic. When I say best, I mean the ones that you know Jay-Z the most for. I think that should be higher. They put Rhapsody's Layla Wisdom on here. That's dope. I appreciate that. Because that's a great album. Layla's Wisdom, Rhapsody. Rhapsody is, if you guys don't know who Rhapsody is, you're slipping. She's bar for bar the best female MC in the game. This is not debatable. We're talking about actual rap ability. She's the best. Her last album, incredible. 112, greatest album of all time, though. I don't even know. I appreciate the love on that, though. She deserves some type of love on that, because they've been sleeping on that chick. All right, we are at 108. 108, Pusha T's Daytona. Okay. I feel like that should be a little bit lower. A little bit. Actually, I'm actually not mad at 108. It's actually about right. I love Daytona. I think that's Pusha T's best work. Kanye snapped on the production on that album. But it's short. And I don't know. I actually think that's a good little spot for that one. That's a good spot. Let's see. Chance the Rapper's Coloring Book at 105. No. I like that album, but no. I think that should be way lower. If we're gonna even put that on the list, that needs to be like this should be number 2. This should be 200. Chance the Rapper's Coloring Book. Y'all can't even name another single besides the song he had with what's his face. I don't know. They put Eve Scorpion above that album. Eve Scorpion at 104, above Nas's It Was Written. Dog, throw this whole list out. That's I gotta hit the vape pen on that one. That's egregious as hell. Like, I'm an Eve fan. Don't get me wrong. I love Eve. I think Eve is awesome. But they're trying to say that Eve Scorpion, her first album, the song that had Let Me Blow Your Mind with Gwen Stefani, is a better album and on the greatest of all time album than Nas's It Was Written. Not by a long shot, by like 50 slots. Throw this whole list out. God damn. Right next to that is Most Death Black on Both Sides, which is a top 50 album easily. If you're granola and you're underground and you're like into hip hop, you know about Most Death Black on Both Sides. The fact that this album is not cracking the top 100, throw this whole list out. Burn the list. Burn the list. Holy shit. Damn, I'm kind of triggered by that Eve thing. They put Eve over Nas, dog. Ugh. Young Jeezy, Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101 at 101. They're just trying to be clever with that one. They're just trying to be clever. They're like, oh, Thug Motivation 101, we'll put them at 101. Mid. All right, we're cracking this top 100. God damn it. All right, so the Carter 2 is at number 99. Fine. Whatever. Anyways, keep scrolling. Ice Cube, Death Certificate at 93. Fine. Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon at number 90. Dang. All right, so this is another scenario where you talk about albums that have had a massive impact, not only on me, but also just like the generation. I would argue that if Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon never came out, you would not have like a grip of artists. And a lot of artists would tell you this. Travis Scott is a disciple of Kid Cudi. His name is partially named after Kid Cudi. This album is top 50. I appreciate it even this with how egregious this list is. I appreciate this even being on here and being top 100. But this is top 50, bro. It's a top 50. Throw this list away. Pro this list. Man. Kind of mad at that one. Ultramagnetic MCs, Critical Beatdown, 1988. That's a good one. It comes in at 87. Common Like Water for Chocolate, 86. Fine. Eminem. I think this actually might be Eminem's first entry on here. Eminem, the Slim Shady LP at 85. Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I don't even know how I feel about that one. I feel like Eminem has better albums than that album, though. My personal favorite album is the Eminem Show. Many will argue with me about this. This is like a common argument on Facebook with me. Marshall Mathers LP is better than the Slim Shady LP too. So, but the Slim Shady LP was like a moment. It was literally like this whole shift, and there's like a whole vibe behind it that could never be recreated, no matter how hard Eminem tried. So I respected their decision to put the Slim Shady LP on here, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. They got Vince Staples' Summertime '06 at 84 above Eminem's Slim Shady LP. This is a good album, but this is an album that would be in the like 160. I wouldn't put it in the top 100. That's crazy. They got MIA Kala, MIA Kala at 83. And the thing about this album is that it had Paper Planes, and Paper Planes like changed the game. Because first of all, it brought on Diplo, and Diplo is probably like the best underrated producer. Diplo's the man. I fuck with Diplo so heavy. I like Diplo a lot. Diplo's my guy. And Paper Planes was like the moment that Diplo kind of like came onto the scene. But is it 83 though? Is it 83 out of 200 the greatest albums of all time? Dog, I don't know about that. Let's just keep scrolling. Here. All right. Kanye West and Jay-Z, Watch the Throne at 77. I fuck with that. Keep scrolling. Megan Thee Stallion, Fever at 75. Bro. That is crazy. That's probably the craziest one yet. Is Megan Thee Stallion's Fever at 75 on the 200 greatest albums of all time. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy, dog. I need a second. Hold on, let me hit this pen again. Shout out to Yam Yams. And right underneath that, at 74, is Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. I need you guys to think about that contrast for a second. At 75, you have Megan Thee Stallion's Fever. At 74, you have Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Holy shit. That's crazy, dog. That's that's easily the most egregious on this list so far, is putting her in the top 100. I would respect her being in the top 200 just because she's Megan Thee Stallion and she's popular and they're doing it for the clout. But putting her 75 above Watch the Throne, above fucking Eminem's Some Shady LP, above Common's like Water for Chocolate, above Brand Nubians, All One for All, Kid Cudi. Wow. Bro. Whew. Okay. We can keep it moving. Because that's wild, dog. That is crazy. All right, anyways. Fuji's a score at number 70. That's top 10. That should be top 10. I think that the Fuji's a Score is actually one of the best rap albums, like front to back, period. And it was important too. Just like with Lord Hill and all that, I think that that album's top 10, dog. Juvenile, 400 Degrees at 68. I fuck with that. I'm not mad at that. Keep scrolling. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. This is a top 50 album though. It's coming in at 64. That's top 50. This album was so critical. It's like it's like the biggest rap debut of all time at this point. I think it still is the biggest rap debut of all time. So they stupid. Black Star, Most Def and Talib Kweli at 63. Fine. Whatever, dog. They got Kendrick Lamar's Damn at 60. Notorious B.I.G.'s Life After Death at 59, which is fine. Fine, whatever, dog. This list is trash. A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. So for me personally, this album, A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, is actually, for me personally, one of the most important albums of all time because it was an album that got me into hip hop. It was actually the first album I ever bought. So for me personally, this is a top 20 album. Personally, I respect that it's on this list this high though. They could have put this at number 190 and I would have been triggered as fuck. So whatever, keep scrolling. Kanye West, The College Dropouts at 52. Is this the first Kanye West album on here? I feel like it is. I feel like this is the first Kanye West album on here besides Watch the Throne. And it's coming in at 52. College Dropout. I feel like if I didn't watch Genius, I would be like, nah. But after watching Genius, yeah. Sure. The Roots, Things Fall Apart. Yes. The best Roots album is 51. All right, we're going into this top 50, though. All right, top 50. Here we go. Number 50 is EPMD, Strictly Business. Cool. J Dilla Donuts at 48. They got Straight Outta Compton at 49. Ooh, this top 50 is gonna be egregious. I can already tell. Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly at 47. I like that album though. That's like, once again to me, I actually think it's actually probably perfect. I would actually probably put this album at 47 on my own personal list. And maybe one day I will make my own personal list. We'll see. Tyler, the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost is at 46. Nah, the album's actually really great. But to call it 46 this early in the game is kind of wild. Because they're suggesting that this album is going to go down as one of the greatest albums in rap history. The album just came out last year. So for it to be this high is kind of wild. Genius, Jizza, Liquid Swords. This is another album that carved me into what I am today. I respect this position. It's at 44. I like that. Kanye West, Late Registration. So he's on here again. Number 41. Fair. Dr. Dre, The Chronic is at 40. I feel like that should be top 20. Lil Wayne, The Carter, 3 is at 39. Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City, 38. Based on the criteria that seemingly is going on with this list, this should be top 10. I think that if kind of based off what they're trying to do with this list, Good Kid, Mad City should be top 10. It's probably number 10, but it should be top 10. Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links, 37. I told you this shit would be on there. Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. This is not even a fucking album. Oh my god. Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap at 36. Now, I enjoy this album. And we're including mixtapes now, so bruh. This should be on here if we're gonna include this type of mixtape or free project, whatever. But it's not top 50. For the new kids, it's probably not even top 50. That's goofy. I don't even know. This list is wild. Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, 35. Sugar Hill Records, 34. This is the album that had Rapper's Delight and the message on it. So, sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like probably like the most influential and important album of all time. So that's fair. De La Soul, 3 Feet Rising at 33. Fine. Chief Keef, Finally Rich at 32. I actually fuck with that listing because Chief Keef is arguably like one of the most important artists of this generation. And if you're doing like this whole generational thing, then yes, fine. Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday, sure. At 31. I mess with that. Paul's Boutique, Beastie Boys at 30. Tupac, All Eyes on Me at 29. Wow. I think this is why people are so mad. Dog. Oh man, they put Tupac All Eyes on Me at number 29, dog. This is like one of the greatest rap albums and most important rap albums of all time. I'm afraid to keep scrolling at this point. So 28 is Mobb Deep Infamous. That's fine. I respect the hell out of that because that album is crucial. Outkast Aquemini at 27. I'd actually argue that's their best album. Like as a duo, that's their best album. Reasonable Doubt at 26. Fine. Fine. Marshall Mathers LP, oh shit, at 25. Fine. I'm actually okay with that. Nas's Illmatic at 24. Bruh. I'm like afraid to keep scrolling, man. Um, Nas's Illmatic is 24. This should be top 10. This is like one of the most important rapper albums of all time. And like, I don't even know. UGK's Riding Dirty. Okay. All right. I wonder who snuck that on that list. That was a black person who got that list. That I'm gonna figure out who wrote this list at the end of this. That was a black guy who got that UGK on there, 23 though. That's a banger. That's a banger. DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, bro. At 22, respectable. I would push it a little bit higher. I think it should be like 15 or 16. But yes, Little Wayne, The Drought. That's not even that's a mixtape, right? The Drought 3 was a mixtape. It's number 21. That doesn't make any sense. Throw this list out. Wow, they got Future's Dirty Sprite 2. Future's Dirty Sprite 2 is the number 20 album of all time, according to Rolling Stone. So just for reference, Future's Dirty Sprite 2 is better than DMX's Dark as Hell is Hot, Nas's Illmatic, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, Outkast's Aquemini, Mobb Deep's Infamous, Tupac's All Eyes on Me, De La Soul's 3 Feet Rising, Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links. They put Future's Dirty Sprite 2. This is not even the one with March Madness on it. Like, what are we talking about, people? Wow. Holy hell. I can see why people are super mad at this list. Because that's worse than the Megan Thee Stallion right there. If you're going to put Future anywhere on this list, he needs to be in the bottom 50. If you're going to put any project on there, I would put the album on there with Drake. Because that's the best work, is the shit that he did with Drake. Or the early shit he did with Esco. Wow, that's crazy. Little Kim, number 19, Hardcore. I see what they're trying to do there. I see what they're trying to do there. That's a legacy thing. It's a great album, but it's not the number 19 greatest album of all time. Come on now. Mad Villain. Okay. Nothing to say about that. Kanye West's Yeezus at 17. I like Yeezus. So I know that this is probably like the most polarizing album of all time, or one of them. 17 though. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to defend. Even as a Kanye West fan, I can't defend that. Man. Anyways, Cardi B. So this is the one I've been talking shit about on Facebook. Cardi B, number 16. After doing my research and seeing how they're doing this list, I respect this. She's the first person. She won the best album of the year, female. I think she's the first rap female to do that. She broke records with every single song on the album going platinum. She has 2 diamond singles. I don't know a lot of rappers who have 2 diamond singles. And, you know, her impact is clear. You look at all the female rappers right now, they're doing what Cardi B is doing right now. So I have to kind of agree. I know you guys are mad, but Cardi B she deserves that 16. I think so. And this is why we haven't got another Cardi B album, because you know how much pressure, like, she has to top this album. She has to top an album that went platinum on every single song. This is why she keeps dropping singles like WAP and that Up song, because they're trying to find a song that will top what she did, and I don't think they ever will. I actually don't even think we will ever get another Cardi B album. Maybe. That's actually a bold statement, but we'll see. I digress. That's crazy, though. Whew. Eric B. and Rakim paid in full at 15. Respectable. Ghostface Killer, Supreme Clientele. This is actually probably my favorite Ghostface Killer album, I think. So I respect that. It's kind of high up, though. I'm not sure if I'd make it 14 greatest album of all time. But I love this album. So Dr. Dre 2001 at 13. Respectable. Clips Lord Willing at number 12. Yes. Yep. I'm not mad at that. Drake's Take Care. Holy shit. 11. Oh. I like Drake's Take Care, first of all. But nothing was the same as the Better album and his best album. Neither of them are top 20. I understand the impact of Take Care, so I would put Take Care above Nothing Was the Same based off of impact and sales and whatever criteria they're doing there. But neither of those albums are top 20. That's crazy. Okay, number 10, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Fair. Fair. I don't have anything to say about that. That's fine. Tribe Called Quest, A Low End Theory at number 9. Yes. Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the Chambers, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. That's fair. This is one of the most important rap albums of all time, period. So I agree with that. Missy Elliott, Miss E, So Addictive at number 7. Bro. Okay, so like for me personally, like as a dude, like as a guy, as Jaron Ikner, I actually agree with this. This album to me is so important to me. I listen to this album on repeat. This album, production wise, concept wise, everything about this album, even as I think about it right now, it takes me back to a very certain time in my life. It's my favorite Missy Elliott album. Dang, yeah, man. Y'all might be mad, but they're right about that. Missy, So Addictive, number 7. Yeah. Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, number 6. Sure. Yeah. Nothing to say about that negative. I think that's perfect. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly, number 5. See, now, me personally, I would have switched this with Good Kid, Mad City. I think Good Kid, Mad City is so much more impactful. Now, you guys are going to argue this because, you know, on this album, like, Kendrick's on some, like, Black Lives and depression and all this stuff, and he uses jazz and soul and the fusion of it. But Good Kid, Mad City is still on the charts right now. It's like the most longest running album on a chart in chart history. That album is fired. Anytime a song comes up in my shuffle, I stop and listen to it. I think Good Kid, Mad City is top 10. But I don't write for Rolling Stone. So here we are. Anyways, Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation to Hold Us Back at number 4. Yes. Jay-Z's The Blueprint at number 3. I know a lot of y'all don't agree with that, but I do. Jay-Z's The Blueprint number 3? Absolutely. Yes. That album was responsible for putting on Kanye and Jay-Z. He dropped that shit literally on 9/11 and still went like gold. Like, what? Yeah, we were being attacked by planes, and niggas still went to the store and copped Jay-Z's album the same day. So, yes, GOAT. Outkast Stankonia number 2. Oh, it's a good one. I like that. I also don't. It's oh man. Outkast Stankonia number 2. I'm just trying to think like how often I listen to that album now, and I don't. I think I listen to Aquemini more than I listen to Stankonia. I definitely listen to Love Below and Speaker Box more than I listen to Stankonia. But I understand what they're trying to say though. Like sonically, and like the fact that it came from Atlanta in the year 2000, like yes, but also no. That's a tough one, dog. That's a tough one. Number one, drum roll please. Number one, according to this list, is the Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. I agree to a certain extent. I almost feel like number one should be Tupac All Eyes on Me. Because if we're talking like, first of all, let me read some of this and see what they say about this and see if I agree. That's what we're gonna do here. Let me put in my reading voice. Ready to Die marked the precise moment when hip hop's golden age transitioned into the modern age. The height of New York hip hop and the sound of the greatest rapper of all time at its absolute top of his powers. The album starts with a theater necessary for such a high stakes debut. Before he became Notorious B.I.G., Christopher Wallace had been hustling and selling drugs to make ends meet. Experiences had he poured into hard-hitting, semi-autobiographical songs after he signed to Uptown Records in 1992. When his AR rep Sean Puffy Combs got fired, Wallace's future looked uncertain, but all that changed once Ready to Die was released on Combs' Bad Boy Records in 1994. Biggie leavened his raw fatalism with smooth, settled sense of humor, perfecting a hard-soft dichotomy that would become a template for decade of artists. From the grandiose cinema of the four skits on intro to the triumph of Juicy to the bleak honesty of Suicidal Thoughts, the album remains grim, groundbreaking classic that stared death in the eye and became larger than life. Oh. But see, for me personally, I like Life After Death way more than Notorious B.I.G. And it's also like if we're gonna talk about this era and how we did all that, where the fuck is Puff Daddy's No Way Home? Or sorry, No Way Out. I was thinking about Spider-Man. No Way Out. No Way Out should be on this list. If you're gonna mention Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die, then you need to have Puff Daddy's No Way Out, even if it's coming in at like 185. And there's no other Bad Boy albums on this entire list. I don't think. I have to scroll back through, but there's no like Mace Harlem World or anything like that. So it's like I get what they're trying to say, but it's also kind of feels like, oh, Biggie died, so we're gonna give him that love. But they should have given it Pac. I think that Pac should have got number one, All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me was such a crazy album, bro. Just the energy around that album was crazy. The energy around Ready to Die was good, but it wasn't crazy. The energy around All Eyes on Me was crazy. The video for California Love was crazy. Insane. So I don't know, man. This list is kind of trash. I think we have to throw this whole list out. I might have to write my own list. I feel like, first of all, let's go. Let's see who wrote this. First of all, let's count how many writers put this list together. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 people put together this list. Let's click on a random name. Let's click on Moses Reeves. I'm not going to show his photo, though, I bet. I'm curious to know the genetic makeup of these people. But this guy has a lot of articles about Notorious B.I.G., though. Suspicious. I feel like, I don't know. There's a lot to process here. I feel like there's just a lot to process. But I appreciate all you guys sitting here and going through this list with me as I try to figure out what the hell Rolling Stone is doing. Yeah, I guess leave your comments. I'll read through them, and we'll figure this out together. But Rolling Stone, y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. Y'all, see, what they need to do is they need to do like a video or like some type of content justifying their actions. The most egregious being Future's Dirty Sprite at 20 and Megan Thee Stallion at 75 over like all kinds of crazy albums. Like I don't even know. It's nuts. It's nuts. The rest of the list, I can understand the justification for a lot of it. But this list is not definitive. Because I think if you're going to go ahead and make a definitive list, you have to have metrics like record sales versus longevity versus career impact versus critical acclaim, like taking on the Metacritic scores and adding. I'm saying you got to go deep and do all that, which I think is what someone should do. That someone's not me, but someone will do it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back again with more videos here on live streams and Starstruck TV. Appreciate you guys. Peace.